else care when they need.
The question is the grievances be noted. I call the member for Hasluck.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, I step up to the plate to talk about baseball and about the international opportunities that baseball offers Australia based in my electorate of Hasluck. Baseball is not just a sport, it's an international industry, and Australia is ready to step up to the plate. On the weekend, Perth claimed second consecutive shield was a title of a story done by Nina Zimmerman. Adelaide, the 8th of February, for the fourth time in 5 years, Perth reigned supreme atop the pedestal of the Australian Baseball League. The alcohol Think Again Perth Heat beat the Adelaide Bite, proudly presented by SA Power Networks, 12-5 in Saturday's third and final game of the ABL Championship Series, presented by ConocoPhillips to take home the Claxton Shield for the second consecutive season. The series victory had historical implications beyond Perth taking home its fourth title in the 5-year existence of the new ABL. With the win, Western Australia moved into a second-place tie with South Australia on the all-time Claxton Shield premiership list. The victory also came one night after the Perth levelled the championship series with a 10th inning win. We're a bunch of fighters, Tim Kenley said. We've done that for years, so it was good to bounce back with that win. But what's fascinating is that the media coverage of baseball in Australia, which is a growing sport, is very limited. If it had the same coverage as AFL, or if it had the same coverage as Test matches or some of the other sports, then its place within the Australian sporting arena would be as significant as that is held by cricket in particular. And I hope that in the future baseball holds its place. It's also interesting that Perth and Australia have played in 5 significant Asian baseball cups. In 1971, we were a semi-finalist. In 1975, 1985, at Beijing in China, we were a semi-finalist in 1991 and in 1993. But again, the media coverage hasn't been tremendous. And I'll start with some history and move on to some good old-fashioned bragging with plenty of baseball references throughout. Baseball took off on Australia's east coast and is believed to have been bought over by Americans during the Victorian gold rush in the 1850s. Miners would play baseball on the flat and dusty goldfields on their rest days. Still in goldfield country, the first reported organised teams were in Ballarat, Victoria in 1857. And while baseball is a summer sport in the USA, it was originally considered a useful off-season sport for Australian cricketers and was played during winter, including all the way through the First World War. The Australian Baseball League, or the ABL, now plays in summer, so the players can move between leagues in the Northern Hemisphere in Australia. And we have outstanding competitors who make the grade in the States, in the Asian circuit, Korea, and you watch them when they come back and you notice the difference, and yet they're not seen in the media as heroes in their own right or given the coverage that we give prominent and eminent players in the 2 principal sports that we play in this nation. Now, moving to West Australia coast, the bragging. On Saturday, as I said, the WA baseball team, the Perth Heat, defeated the South Australian team, the Adelaide Bite, to win the ABL Championships for the 4th time in 5 seasons. That's an incredible feat for a state team to have taken for the 4th time. I know the competitors on the East Coast were hoping that they would not win the series, that it would be taken by Adelaide. That's right, the Heat beat the Bite, making them Perth the hottest Aussie baseball team as well as the hottest capital city. And as well as having the best baseball team in Australia, Perth also has the best baseball stadium in Australia. Perth Heat are based at Barbagallo Ballpark in my electorate of Hasluck. Barbagallo Ballpark was built in 2004 and expanded in 2007 and is based in the suburb of Thornley in the south of Perth. It has a seating capacity of about 500 punters and standing room for 3,500 more. The ballpark has an enclosed members areas, numbered seats and the best quality playing surface of any park in the nation. but it could be better. The Commonwealth and state governments have before them a proposal to turn Barbagallo Ballpark into a world-class stadium capable of hosting international events. Upgrading Barbagallo Ballpark is something I'm fighting for in Hasluck in 2015. It would be a whole new ball game for Australia. Let me talk you through the journey that would get us there. The pitch comes from Baseball WA, the organisation that runs the stadium and supports the successful Perth Heat. Baseball WA is a good pitcher and they put forward a good proposal. If the Commonwealth and state governments swing at this pitch, we will get to first base, increasing the capacity of the stadium, the lighting and the quality of the field and the amenities at Barbagallo Ballpark. From there, we'd be able to make our way to second base, getting international teams from the big baseball countries like Japan, China, Korea and others in the world to play games in Australia. As the saying goes, if you build it, they'll come. And along with them will come a stream of revenue-raising opportunities, including employment, sponsorship and international tourism. If Australia's getting the big teams in, then we're getting the big crowds in. We'll be well on the way to third base, which is the incredible health benefit of involving more Australians in sport, especially our kids. One of the things I love about attending baseball games is the tradition of inviting all children who are at the park to run across the field at the beginning of the 9th innings. When I watched the semi-final match at Barbagallo in January, hundreds of children crossed the oval to the tune of Who Let the Dogs Out. I saw the kids of a variety of fitness levels give their all to get across the 200-metre field. Not all these kids attending are spectators. They're encouraged to test out their own fitness and have a great time doing it. Deputy Speaker, this doesn't come out of left field on my part. Baseball is the fastest growing junior sport in Australia and is one of the fastest growing sports across the board. Internationally, Australia is building a reputation as a heavy hitter. Over 360 Australian players have signed major league contracts overseas, not to mention those employed in the lucrative and highly regarded profession of umpiring. My colleague Steve Irons, the member from the neighbouring electorate of Swan and the chairman of the Parliamentary Friends of Sport, expressed his support for Barbagallo Ballpark project in the chamber in June last year. Deputy Speaker, with a modest investment from the Commonwealth, there is potential for a home run here. And I'd say to the Minister for Health and Sport, the Honourable Susan Ley, and to the State Minister for Health and Sport, Mia Davies, I'd say batter up. Let's hit this one out of the park and leave a lasting legacy on Australia's sporting future. But in finishing, I want to say that given all the excitement of baseball and the hype, and when you consider our players' success overseas, then we get very little media coverage. I don't see Channel 10, 9 or 7 covering the game so that it's brought into the homes of families. It's certainly telecast to some 50 other national countries who watch the game and enjoy it. What I would hope to see that is in the future, that we would have the type of coverage that will build the sport, encourage children out on the grounds, their level of fitness increase, and certainly the member opposite. It'd be great to get you out there on the field, and I'd be quite happy to have the Hasluck hitters take on your electorate in a pre-season game to Perth Heat. But seriously, the media needs to give this game the coverage it deserves, because any other sport, as I said, if they are international competitors, they are highly sought after. They play 2 seasons, one in our own country and overseas. And I certainly see the number of young people who take the pathway out of primary school, playing T-ball and baseball, playing softball, and then moving and graduating into the baseball arena. And some of the sporting scholarships that I have awarded have been to young people who aspire to play for the Yankees or the Dodgers or in Korea, because they see an opportunity to extend their capabilities and skills outside the country. But let's hope that the media of Australia will start to pick up on the value of the game, the importance of it, and promote it in a way that it encourages broader viewing. And hey, it would have been great to have watched Perth Heat live on commercial television beat the Adelaide Bite. And again, for our 4th consecutive final out of 5, would have been fantastic to have celebrated. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.